Vorige keer bij Almost Heroes.
We picked up while Glyn is watching over Luther's house. He grabs the burning coin from his pocket and is being tugged northward in a time lapse of travel, arriving atop a blizzarding mountain outside a familiar stone temple door that is connected to the draconic key. He hears a stranger's voice reaches out to Glyn, an attempt to barter his cooperation to deliver the key to the temple door and deliver what is in the temple. Postponing to agree to the stranger's ultimatum, Glyn is left alone atop the mountain. Glyn wanders away from the door to explore the region he is stuck in and encounters Luther, but is unable to make contact with him due to this unknown magic that has brought Glyn here. Wandering back to the door, Glyn re-engages the stranger and reluctantly accepts to deliver the key. During Rangrim's dream, he finds himself dreaming of frolicking underground through a field with Cosmo, who is dressed like Glyn, when suddenly he turns around finding himself alone in darkness with black machinery and the red eye peering down at him, calling Rangrim to join them. Then being gripped into the eye's tentacles, it calls again to join their cause or risk his power being taken away. In Cosmo's dream, he finds himself in a childhood memory where he has wandered off into Goldengrim and into Moradin's temple, where his statue and his clerics are seeking a sign from Moradin. Cosmo hears the clerics muttering amongst themselves as we leave, "Isn't he the one who was born that night? What a curse to be born the night of the Sundering." After waking up, the group meets up in the morning, sharing their previous night's experiences over at the Matic. The group decides to have Rangrim send a message to Luther via sending. Luther warns the group the danger the key brings to them and tells them he will be back in 3 days. The group suddenly hears the bells toll from within the mine, and that is where we left off.
Thank you very much, Bobby. That brings us to episode 33, Consequence. We pick up with our well-rested Almost Heroes sitting at their regular table within the Matic Tavern, enjoying a few breakfast ales, when the sound of an all-too-familiar ringing of a bell calls their attention to the once-sealed Boulderfist Mine that has begun to swing open. So, what do you all do?
Sitting at the table, having our breakfast ales, as you so politely put it, Rangrim pulls his hammer and looks to Cosmo like, do we do something? I'm not sure what the protocol is at this point.
Well, I told Chesk that he could open the mine, and if something happened, to let me know. So I reckon that's him letting me know. So I gotta go. You can follow if you want. And then Cosmo gets up, finishes his drink, and begins to make haste towards the mine door.
Well, you're not gonna catch me not falling. Rangrim's gonna pick his tankard up and basically chug it at the point it is, and then follow Cosmo.
Glyn, the constant gentleman, just leaves his drink because he doesn't have a problem. Just stands up and walks away. Follows him.
He's just thankful he doesn't have to drink Tom's bowel again this
glad
morning.
I'm not being forced to drink more shit.
He's like,
yeah.
Survived
Actually, that's
that
better.
one.
Yeah. Thankful that Glenn's able to not forcibly drink this last drink. He stands up and starts walking, following the guys. But as that's happening, he's going to send Poe to just circle above Tin Town, specifically above Luther's Legends. And Poe will alert the guys if anyone goes to Luther's Legends before they do.
Okay.
So he's just on sentry to see if anybody goes there.
Yeah, roll me a perception for Poe. We'll just use that as a general.
Balls. Yeah, it's not bad. 17, I think. Where was it? Where did I say it was? The super handy tool that lets me keep track of my... Yeah, 17.
Sweet. Yeah, it's good. So we'll just use that as a general.
18, sorry.
We'll just use that for kind of the passive Poe flying around, and if anything is going to be seen, Poe will see it. I will say that as Poe's flying around, there's no alert. Like, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of people kind of out in front of the mine. So that's, I mean, you take that as you will. But yeah, you all are able to kind of like rushing down to the front of the Boulderfist mine. You see kind of two forms there, and they seem to be kind of like bickering with each other, and one kind of seems to push each other, but they look like two like humanoid guards that are wearing the garb of Boulderfist Mining Company, kind of just like silhouetted kind of inside this like partially open door.
They pushed each other like combatively, or they like bounced into each other?
They seem to be kind of there seems to be a little bit of a quarrel going on there. Nothing crazy, but like kind of like you see one of them like push the other one as if they're having some sort of argument, or you know, something of that sort. You see that there's some sort of you know, seems like some sort of, I don't know, combativeness between the two.
As Glenn sees that, he like runs up between the two dwarfs and puts his arms over his shoulders like, Gazo, up to a great start today. Just keeps walking towards him.
What? Glenn, I'm right here. Hi.
I was gonna say, man, we just reopened the mines, and all of a sudden they're already fighting. It's great. It's like old times, right?
Right. What happened, boys?
So as you're getting closer, you start hearing this like these two voices that do sound slightly familiar, especially one of them that goes, "I told you, Gary, you shouldn't have rung that bell. You're gonna get everyone down here in town down here." And the other one just kind of responds like, "I just wanted to make sure it worked. It's been so long. I didn't know what was still working. I didn't know if it was like broken. I don't know. Have you looked in there? The shit is like not good." "Yeah, but," and they kind of hear you coming from, "See, look it, you got them all down here and they're all riled up."
Boys, if you like to keep your job, you'll explain to me what's going on.
What
Who is it? Who's getting it? What? So is something
Greg
happening?
Immediately points at Gary and is like, "He did it."
Well, thank you for tattling, but you'll see the same punishment if you don't start telling me why you rung the bell.
Gary definitely thumps Greg on the back of the head, as the back of the helmet, which kind of makes a nice hollow like dong noise.
Gary. And Rangram kind of turns and puts his back to it and pulls some stuff out of his beard and starts rolling up a split for himself.
Sorry, boss. I didn't mean to alarm anyone. I was just seeing and making sure the bell still works, which now in hindsight seems kind of like a dumb idea. But since you all are down here, maybe we don't have to go walk into this terrifying, scary mine. Maybe you all want to go in there instead and make sure that everything is dead and not going to kill us.
How?
As Rangram's like holding his spliff to Glenn at this point, don't want to do it.
Glenn doesn't even like pick it up with his hand. He just like hits it from his hand and goes, "Yeah, it sounds like your job."
Yeah, no, mine.
No, that's totally fine. There's no problem with that at all.
Here's how we do this. I'll help you along, but you walk in first.
You see,
Well, that implies we gotta walk in behind him, and I hate that.
Well, you could stay in here if you want. You just stand right here.
I'm staying here. Glenn, you staying here?
Yeah. Just tails.
You see Greg take a kind of a step more towards you all and kind of turns towards facing Gary and goes, "Yeah, as he said, after you." And then with a decent amount of kind of like looking like not awestruck, but just kind of on the spot for a second and kind of scared down to his very core, you see Gary turn and kind of slowly start making his way, torch in hand, kind of lighting it along the way, makes his way towards the very dark opening of the once sealed Boulderfist Mine. So are you all kind of like, as he kind of disappears?
Gary or Greg who goes in first?
So Greg is the one with the super cool voice. Gary is the one who rung the bell. So Gary's going in first.
Okay.
Gary was also one that just got saved from the Evan depths too.
Yes.
So.
he's recurring in
Yeah.
the worst kind of ways.
He's a glutton.
100%.
He's a glutton for punishment.
Yeah. Hey, if you're gonna have guards, give them names. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Not
Thoroughly
Richard.
thought out, and I mean they are the deepest characters in this whole campaign so far. So as Gary kind of not disappears through the entrance, but kind of like goes into the darkness past the open front doors, how far behind them are you following?
Cosmo's pretty much right behind him. He's
Yeah, about probably about 10 feet back with Rangrim. I'm like kind of holding Rangrim back, and
We're still kind of like passing the thing occasionally,
And
following behind.
I whisper over to Rangrim like, "Hey, Rangrim, follow my lead," and I just like casually just kind of like keep like a 10-foot distance.
Okay.
Yeah, so just to describe kind of what you're seeing as you're entering into this room. So the last time that you were in, basically between the third gate and the second gate, I will never get that correct. Basically, the final gates there between the third gate and the second gate. Basically the wall had been blown half apart with that bag of holding full of bombs that had inverted and created a small black hole that had essentially ripped apart half of the wall and also dissolved, basically unmade the hive, the burrower like hive queen. And so basically as you're walking in here, you can see that there is like that bottom half of the body still slumped over the wall. You also see that the ceiling has mostly come down. Like there are massive chunks of boulders that are maybe 15 feet, some of them even, that are just like chunks of the ceiling have just like fallen to the ground, smashing most of the burrowers and things like that had tried coming through the doors. You are able to like pick your way through some of these like smaller gaps in between these that are like maybe 5-foot gaps. But for the most part, you just see like gore and chunks of the ceiling pretty much all around you. And just like the remnants, these very quiet remnants of this like climactic battle down in this mine.
Well, see, boys, that's not so bad. It's not so scary in here.
Gary is kind of like walking around and looking like peeking around some of the rocks. He's like, yeah, no, it seems to be totally fine. There's absolutely nothing to. And then he's tackled sideways by a form and disappears behind one of the rocks. Basically, as you're walking through this little alleyway, you see this dark form tackle them sideways, and you can no longer see Gary or his lantern, which has kind of gone with him. What do you all do?
Oh, Cosmo, you got that one figured out, right?
Right. Well, come on out. That's enough playing. Come on out of there now. And then Cosmo just goes to wander around the corner to see where he went or whatever. Around the side of the, yeah.
You get around the side of the rock, this like big chunk of the ceiling that's essentially like, it's almost like you're walking through a extremely rough, almost like a canyon, like very small, very like narrow, like canyon. Think like Antelope Canyon or something like that, where you're like walking through this kind of like, but they're just chunks of rocks that have fallen from the ceiling that are kind of hemming you in all around. And you get around this rock and you can see a extremely petrified Gary, who is being held to the ground by one of these smaller burrowers. That is like pinning him with its like sword arms to the ground and is just like dripping maw right over Gary's face, and whose face is open in a silent but very real scream.
Cosmo, quickly seeing that there's a thing, pulls his war pick off of his back, runs and like golf chunks this thing.
Roll me an attack.
Boy, Cosmo, everything's totally normal over there, right?
So it is a 25 to hit.
You know what? It just might.
Just barely.
Just barely.
You just graze him.
Right. It is a whole 10 damage.
Okay. How does it die?
Cosmo using the like blunt side. The blunt side of his war pick is just full and just like smashes the thing straight, like Like Gary set it up on a tee.
So I'll say that you're not really able to get to the head because it's on the opposite side of the view, but you're able to get it right in the meaty part of the body, and this thing basically just bends around your war pick in a pretty much in a V, and you can feel its like spine and body and everything just kind of crunch as it goes. It kind of like gives this bestial kind of like yip and just like slams against one of the other pieces of stone and it falls to the ground with just like that similar purple ooze, like which you know to be acidic, just kind of dripping from its mouth, and does not seem to be alive. And a very scared Gary is still on the ground, just like looking straight up in the air and in his mouth open in a soundless scream.
Glenn turns to like the little corner down the hallway, and he just like, Gary, get up off the ground, man. You're looking like an idiot. And hands it back to Rangram.
Boss, I think I'm gonna need a new uniform. I may have ruined this one.
And Cosmo coming up to pick him up off the ground says, well, I guess you need a wash then.
Yeah, of one of many things I need right now.
Are there still like things coming up from that opening in the mine?
The other side.
So from what you can see and what you can hear, things are just from your passive perception, Rangram, especially yours being really good, unless you all want to do an active perception checks.
Sure.
Things seem pretty quiet in here. You can hear like sounds of like things settling, but like for the most part, this thing's been closed and sealed for a little decent amount of time now. And it doesn't seem like there's a ton going on.
It might have been just like a straggler. Survive.
Just for S's and G's, Rangram is going to look at Gary. Was it Gary that fell?
Yeah.
Gary was the one that fell.
Get yourself on your feet, boy. Run like maybe 100 feet down the mine and swing his hammer to the ground and cast Wall of Fire.
Rad.
And making a literal wall of fire.
Just nuke the mine.
That if anything wanted to come past it, it's going to get burnt up.
So if we're looking at, if you all are kind of like in this makeshift kind of labyrinth between gate 2 and gate 3, are you casting it between like basically blocking off the rest of the mine, so like kind of running along gate 2 and just keep anything else from being able to come up?
Momentarily, yes, because with Wall of Fire, I can designate a side, so everything
Right.
on the opposite side of it takes an additional, I think it's 2d10
Okay.
damage when they enter it, and then when they pass through it.
Roll me,
It's a whole lot of damage.
roll me a d20 just to see what. Let's just do a straight up down d20 roll.
16?
Okay, that's really good. You cast this wall of fire and kind of like, I'm gonna say that you're able to kind of like weave it through some of these pathways and just kind of like in blocking off, like just basically like kind of weaving around these chunks of rock that fall into the ground and just kind of like whipping this little wall of fire, this 30-foot wall of fire around in this area, blocking off any of the open areas. And even with the direction you have it facing right now, you hear like 3 distinct shrieks, similar in tone to the one that you just heard when Cosmo killed that very small burrower. And roll me damage for that.
Similar tone and volume as in they
Well,
sound
it
about the
is
same size?
20 foot high and at least 1 foot thick and up to 20 foot in diameter. How far across is this tunnel? At least that, right? I'd
Yeah,
assume?
I'll say it's pretty wide. So what I was thinking is because this and this is, and totally tell me if this is different than what you want to do, but like I was thinking because like from your spot you can cast this like wall of fire and like kind of having it go around in all these passageways between these chunks of rock, and could kind of potentially clear out some of these burrowers if they're still there. Does that work for you?
Yeah, for the most part, he was just kind of just right across like the face. Like if he hit some of these other creeps in the process, that was a bonus. but he was
Cool.
mostly setting this wall across the general
Oh,
vicinity.
rad. Okay. Yeah. So you're doing it on the actual wall itself to kind of block that off.
It's kind of a straight off.
Cool.
It's up to
Yeah.
20 feet high.
Awesome. Yeah. So roll me some damage then for that.
16 damage.
Okay, so what I'm going to say happens is, for one thing, you'll get to tell me how they die. But I'll say that you set this fire on this wall that is where that like big chunk of the wall was missing. It covers that section as well, and where the bottom half of that hive queen was at. And it seems that there were maybe a few. Actually, either feeding off of it or hanging out over by the remnants of that hive mother. Yeah, how do they all die?
Like immediately immolated, just woof, like their whole bodies just burst into flame as the fire on that one side of the wall just kind of just bursts outwards, and it seems to immediately just incinerate them almost immediately.
And filling the chamber with a pretty acrid smell of like, I don't really know what burning
barbecue
poison
and brisket,
burning acid, burning poison. But yeah, so you absolutely like the burning husk of half of the hive mother, as well as a couple of her young
so John,
ones
that's what it
there.
smells like.
That's what it smells like, 100%.
Now that Gary's dust himself off, Glenn kind of walks over, is like, pats him on the back, is like, come on, Gary, we just got to go just past, the giant dead thing and clear out whatever's left. You're doing a great job so far. Just keep on leading the way. And it's kind of like shove him on the back and like lead him back down towards kind of towards the wall of fire, but assuming it's going to be put out as he gets closer.
So as you all are getting closer to the wall, the chunks of rock seem to be more consolidated towards the opening. So it kind of frees up a little bit there, and there's like smaller chunks of rock, but there's like larger openings between them. So the gate still shut, and basically, as you know, the magic that was on this wall, whatever ancient magic had been on it, had been disrupted and broken by the walls basically being unmade and blown apart when that bomb went off. So if you want to open the gate to go past it, you can. But at this time, you're kind of standing very near Rangrim's wall of fire, but also kind of just in front of this very closed most of a gate.
The wall itself had like an inner workings, right? Can I do like a quick run through to see if maybe anybody got left behind, or there's any creatures or any people left in the wall? Not like the doors, but like the actual parts you can like climb up and whatnot.
So there's like for one thing, there's either stairs that go up to the top, as you know, because you got stabbed by Regalia up there, and that's when she threw the bombs that blew the gate apart.
That's really who he's looking for.
That's kind of who I'm trying to kill.
Actually, that's an interesting thing. Rangrim, you would know that kind of over by where the hive mother was at against the wall was where you had thrown Regalia along with her the scarf that you had like given her, wrapped around her, and then kind of thrown her out of the way as a very enlarged Rangrim had fled from the mine. This is just for your own knowledge. Like technically over in that area would have been where was the last time she was seen. But for Glenn, there's staircases going up to the top, kind of back and forth staircases that go up. And there's also doors on the inside of the mine or of the wall that go to an inner section of the wall as well. That kind of has like some quarters and storage and whatnot.
I wouldn't really be necessarily looking for any like items, because I'm assuming it's the Boulderfist guards. It's not like no one's leaving their valuables there. It's just kind of like where they stay when they're on guard.
Also, you probably stolen
anybody like that's true. Yeah, any refugees that like maybe got stuck behind, or like anybody that's like kind of trying to hide out there.
Roll me either investigation or perception check.
Do investigation, because why not? Not very high. I got an 8, but it's a +6, so 14.
So you find you don't find anyone that got left behind. As far as you know, you were pretty thorough about that. That was something that like all of you were trying to, well, at least Cosmo and Glenn seemed very adamant. Glenn was very adamant about getting the refugees out. Cosmo was very adamant about getting all the guards out. You open up this little door into this like inner workings area, and you kind of look around, and the only thing you find really is like it looks like some people were interrupted in the middle of like some sort of card game. You see like a couple different cards with like some of them have dragons on them, some have like this like kind of dark looking magician, and then you see some other kind of like cards out on the table, and maybe some money and like a dagger maybe stuck on the table. But aside from that, you don't really see much.
The hand with the magician look like it's winning.
No, actually, it looks like the blue dragons.
Goddamn Kaiba.
Yeah, a couple blue dragons there, and it looks like in the hand, it looks like there was like a 3-headed dragon that was just about to be played. So, yeah, I think the magician guy was getting dunked on.
I checked the top 5 cards of the magician's hand. Is there a being about to be assembled?
A being and not to be assembled.
It looks like there's only 3 of those cards in the deck for some reason, as if a couple of them got lost somewhere along the way. There's like a Karibo, like a small like little creature, puffy creature, and a couple other things in there.
I don't have part of the cards. You're right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Okay, so as Glenn's kind of like going through, and he's like kind of walking Gary through all this, and like just kind of like console him, like, look, man, like there's really nothing that we got to even worry about. And like gets to the top of the wall, and like I look out past the wall. Do I see anything?
So
I'm looking like I climbed all the way to the top,
yep.
Closing fence, right? And I'm just looking deeper into the cave.
Do you want to use your...
can also only hold the wall of fire is a 1 minute concentration. So if we're out of combat, he's only holding that for a short amount of time, and I imagine it projects a good amount of light downwards. Yeah. But
for sure. So I'll say that I'll give you advantage on your perception check there.
Cosmo would be probably following Glenn.
Okay. Rangram, are you going up there too, or are you hanging out down below?
No, Rangram's hanging out back behind the wall of fire he created.
It's a good call.
16.
Okay.
He's very proud of himself.
24.
Sweet. Yeah, so I'll say that aside from just like chunks of ceiling that have fallen down and crushed like the remainders, so past this second gate was where the refugees camp was. So aside from like most of that just being like destroyed by these chunks of ceiling that have fallen down, though less destructive on this level, like you're seeing also the remnants of like when that Uber Hulk crashed through the wall and like took on gate 1, and just kind of like you're like flashing back to a lot of these like past events that you spent time down here, different things that happened, kind of started your journey. But no, one thing that does kind of like catch your eye is that kind of like in the middle of the room, surrounded by just like a ton of these like marks and footprints in the floor of like the burrowing creatures that rushed through this opening as soon as that gate fell. You see kind of like a weapon, like a thin bladed like sword of some kind that seems to be like kind of half buried in the ground, as if it's just been kind of left behind, but it seems out of place in the center of the chamber.
Well, I mean, see, Gary, there's nothing to worry about. We just got some footprints, some refugees tents, which kind of messed up that you guys just left them down here. We'll talk about that another time. There's nothing really to worry about. It's all good.
Yeah. I guess you're right. And he's like, as soon as he says that, he like flashes back to the fact that last time he said that, he like got attacked by something. He like looks around behind him, and then he seems like he's okay, and he's just kind of like sitting there, hand on his sword, just extremely not feeling very at ease, but is doing his best. And Glenn, I'll say too that like I think this, like, you're probably super uneasy here too, because this is like almost you kind of look down as you're looking around, you're like realizing this is almost the exact same spot that you almost got killed by Regalia, and where she took that those bombs out of that bag and basically turned the tide of that battle, throwing them off to the side, blowing up the wall, breaking the enchantment on the wall, and then leading the all of these things inside. So as you're kind of standing up there and consoling Gary on the fact that everything's okay, you're also realizing that this is the last time you're here. Things were not okay.
That's old news. Glenn doesn't care about that anymore. So Glenn looks over to Cosmo and he's like, Cosmo, I think we need to go through and see if maybe we can't find some personal belongings for the refugees that we still have in town and the ones who made their nice little village. You want to go snoop around down there for a little bit.
Right.
Let Gary off the hook on this one.
Right, yep. I'd like to just venture at least down to where, just before we hit the Underdark, or before the
And-
last gate.
As Glenn goes down, very much not, like I just said, over it. He draws his double-bladed scimitar and just is very much on alert, keeping an eye out for anything that looks
Right.
like it's going to go bump in the night. And he's making his way towards, like, kind of the center of the little refugee town.
So they're both walking down further into the mine.
Past gate 2 now, like towards gate 1.
Guys, we're doing this again. I don't want to. Gary, are you doing it?
Okay, you're hanging out with Greg. I think Greg would be with you. Gary was with them on top of the wall.
Greg, you're coming with me, right?
Yeah, of course. I'll be right behind you, man.
All right, come on. Shit. You know what? Fuck it. Greg, just go.
You sure?
No, you know what? I need you. I need your help.
What kind of secret mission you got for me?
It's the most secret mission ever.
Oh boy.
You gotta wait till we talk to the elf, and he'll tell you what your mission is.
In the inner circle, I can't believe it. I'm not worthy.
You are worthy, Gregory. Gary. Gregory. What's your name again?
My name's Greg.
Jeff. All right, Jeff. We're going.
That's fine.
Keep me alive.
Because at this point, Rangrim's wall of fire is
It's gone.
He can't keep concentration. He's had so much of those.
It's only
cigarettes.
a minute. It's 1 minute.
He's had so much of that cigarette, he doesn't remember.
Nah,
He thought the wall fire was still up there. That's all that counts.
He never cast it. He just thought he did it. You just see him in the corner.
I guess we're gonna go meet my friends. Come on, Georgery.
So I assume that you all have opened the gate at this point.
There wasn't a
past.
way down without opening it, right?
No, you
Yeah,
would have had to
okay,
open it up.
okay,
At least at
yeah.
a certain point. So like maybe you opened it up tall enough where like Glenn still had to duck or something.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I honestly, Glenn, I was thinking he just hopped over the wall and kind of like stuck a dagger into the wall and just kind of slid his way down. But I guess that wouldn't work for everybody else, so he'll do the gate.
Nice. So Rangrim, you're just following them along with bringing Greg with you.
Yep, with Georgery.
Cool. Jeff follows right behind you, emboldened a little bit by the fact that he now thinks he is trusted with this.
Part of the group.
He's part of the group and these secrets. He's very, very emboldened.
Listen,
by that.
George, you can do anything that you believe in. And then I tap him on the shoulder and give him guidance.
Holy. Okay, Greg, Jeff, George, whatever. They feel amazing. They've never felt this good in their life. This is like, they think that like whatever, you just gave them Michael's secret stuff. And
Michael's secret stuff.
you know, micro secret stuff. And this guy, this normal human guard is like, all of a sudden he's like, oh my, you feel this good all the time? No wonder you can fight all those big monsters. Let me at him. I got this now.
All right, hold on there, big fella.
Pulls a sword out, starts waving it around, like starts jabbing in different directions.
Wait, you gotta hold that back. You gotta save that for the big bats. They're gonna be there. Trust me. Wait till we find the elf and tell him you think he's a dick.
What?
I'm
what
just
did that
kidding.
do?
Don't do that. Don't do that. Absolutely do not do that.
Oh, okay. It's really hard to keep track on what I'm supposed to do, but I'll do my best.
Good. On your toes, like a gnome at a urinal, on your toes at all times.
That's good.
That's a good
Very
one.
good.
I
Can
need
we
to
add
write
that
that
to the
down.
list? Quotes.
Yes.
Like a gnome at a urinal, on your toes at all times. Glenn, what are you doing, or like because you walked out into the center of the chamber?
Yeah. Cosmo's with me, or Cosmo's like okay. I wouldn't necessarily be like sneaking. He's just very alert, looking for whatever might be coming. He had his eye on that sword that he saw, and he's making his way towards that. But I imagine like not all the tents are like completely perfectly flat and trampled. Like he's like keeping an eye out for anything that might be like shifting, moving from tent to tent, like anything that's like in predator mode, trying to hunt whatever's still down here. Because I imagine that's what you do to live down here.
For sure. So roll me a perception check.
Can I use advantage on this one? I'll use my earwig to
yeah, it's fine.
What are we perceiving? I'm sorry.
Just to see, he's like trying to listen and hear if he hears anything like moving around the tents that are still remaining.
I rolled a 19 plus 6, so 25.
I won't roll.
I'll say that it sounds like things are pretty quiet. You don't hear anything like rustling around, so you don't know whether something is like lying in wait, but you don't hear things moving.
Okay, and so like as he's kind of moving forward, and he's kind of keeping a hand like on Cosmo's like armor, like on his pauldron, like looking around. Says, yeah, from up on the wall, I was able to see some glint of light down towards the middle. Actually, kind of reminded me of something Joro used to carry with him. Let's go see if we can't find that. And starts leading Cosmo towards where the item was and points it out once we get close enough.
Yeah. So you remember this place, this area well. As soon as you get to the middle of it, you can like looking at the ground. You're seeing like this was the final standoff where the Hive Mother had been before you kind of took refuge behind the wall, where Cosmo was knocked unconscious and woke up underneath the Hive Mother, and where Joro kind of succumbed to the Mind Flayer. Now you would know the Mind Flayer, Zasik's control, where then he turned on you all, kind of turning the tide of the battle and then forcing you back behind the wall. You come up on this what is indeed like a rapier that is kind of half buried in the ground. Seems like it's been run over, but doesn't seem to be damaged. And you do indeed recognize it as the rapier that Joro had carried. And as you kind of pick it up, you can see that it's emblazoned with the familiar symbol of what actually this is something Rangrim. Just so I can give this information, maybe it's something you communicate later. Roll me a history check with advantage for you.
History check. Ooh. 19. I don't even think I have any. No, I have a bonus to history. I lied. 19.
So you're not that smart.
So
I'm super smart.
You're smart.
You recognize that the symbol on this rapier is of drow origin and drow making, but also it's a sort of a noble house. It's a sort of like a drow noble house. One that, I mean, who knows? Yeah, it's been 50 years since, the kind of drow society kind of imploded in on itself, and with its like desire to find Lolth, a god who does not exist as far as they know. And so, but basically this rapier is from a former noble within a drow society. And yeah, just like this, similar in making to your drow dagger that you gained from Regalia.
Okay, I was just going to ask. So does it, do I get any semblance of magic aura from it? I mean, I'm assuming I've seen Joro use it before, either from like thinking about it right now and viewing it, or from seeing him use it. Do I know it has any type of
roll me an Arcana check.
Imbuement.
More
importantly,
advantage.
do I need to not be actually touching it with my hand? Because that's probably scarier from the Joro side. Arcana? 12 plus 15?
I'll say that you definitely get ambient magical energy off this weapon.
Okay. Do I feel... does it feel like there's any kind of threat from it, or is it something that like it just seems kind of dormant and I picked it up?
If you're picking it up, I'll say that you don't like, your hand doesn't dissolve and fall off as soon as you touch it. You kind of pick it up, and in the same way that like any kind of magical item, for the most part, like has like a kind of like tingling to anyone who's like magically inclined. I think you kind of pick that up, that just kind of that ambient magical field around it, but you don't know what directly that pertains to.
There's like a hum to it, but okay.
But it's a beautifully crafted weapon. Someone took a lot of time, probably actually likely the Duergar, crafted this weapon, and it was probably traded within the Drow city, because the Drows didn't actually craft most of their own weapons.
So I pick it up, and before I say anything to Cosmo, just kind of look at it solemnly for a little bit. Look over to Cosmo. I was like, I feel bad. We did a lot of good down here, but Joro was the first person in this town to actually treat me like I was worth, talking to. A lot of people saw the robes and equated, wealth, but I came here, busted my ass, and stole everything I could. And Joro was the first person to actually treat me like I mattered. I just kind of let him go.
Well, it was tough. That was a tough day for us all. And, there's no remains to be seen here. Maybe he's not gone forever.
That might be true. You think there's a chance we might be able to bring him back?
I think there's a good chance.
Maybe he's under whatever the hell Rangrim and Regalia have been dealing with.
Oh, I hope he's not mixed in with that. I just hope he's fighting his way through the Underdark, looking for another way out. That's where my mind is gonna live.
We did cut the head off the proverbial snake, right? So maybe that was the only head that was there.
Maybe.
There's nothing more. Yeah, I'll be hopeful for it.
But I certainly won't erase it from my mind. I'll keep my eyes out for it. There's still likely a snake body out there somewhere.
I think you might be right. I'll make sure I'll leave him a message. He'll definitely come back looking for this, and he used to be able to talk to me when I wasn't near him, so maybe he'll do so again. And I'm going to take the time to write a note saying, Joro, if you see this, message Glenn. I'll come back. Just let me know when you're safe. And I'm going to stake it to, I'm going to find a table maybe that was crushed, and stand it up, make it real obvious and all this debris that this is intentionally put here to get someone's attention. And I'm going to stake this note to it. Not with the rapier, but with a dagger, or maybe one of the pythons or something. Just
I'll say obvious. I'll say that this is a pretty it was a ramshackle encampment that was thrown together. I'll say that you're able to easily find a stray nail and a piece of a broken table that has one leg on it that you're able to kind of create a makeshift sign to tack this thing to.
And then in Thieves' Cant, I would have written the whole thing in Thieves' Cant, so it's very obvious to Joro and not anyone else.
Cool. Which I assume is big symbols.
Thieves' Cant depends regionally, so It would have been just a communication that Joro and I understood, but no one else would have.
That's rad. Really cool. So one thing that strikes you all as you're down here is just aside from especially after the wall of fire and clearing out some of the other things, there's just a overwhelming silence. It's just quiet down here. And it's not the level of quiet that was the Ebon Depths. There was things happening down there. This is just silence and emptiness that kind of goes deep into this tunnel. But yeah, what do you all want to do?
Well, Cosmo, is there more you need to know whether or not it's clear to mine? How far down do you want to go?
Well, I just wanted to go to the last gate, which we clearly have, right? Mm-hmm. Clarify.
Yeah,
right?
You're standing it right. I'll say, Glenn, did you want to put that sign just outside the first gate maybe?
It would have been attached to the gate that we just passed. So cool. He would have had to walk through the old camp to the gate that was preventing them from going through.
I feel like just at this moment, Rangrim and Greg.
Hey everyone, what's going on, man? Look at my new cool powers.
You see Greg?
A lot of energy right now, my friend.
Mm-hmm. He's good. He's raw. He's raw. Look at him stabbing the air. See, this is the leadership that Cosmo brings you.
I want to slay some beasts.
But slaying is one thing, but you gotta squish the heads.
Squishing heads now. We're moving past smashing heads to squishing.
Smash. It's
there's a bloodlust to Cosmo now that I don't know if I feel on board with. It's
it's alarming.
It's very alarming. The transformation is. Mm-hmm. I feel like we took a wrong turn.
It is complete.
Good.
Good. Yeah. No, Greg is having the time of his life, but there's nothing to fight as far as you can see. So he's just kind of like swishing in the air.
Well, I mean, Greg, you seem like you're ready to fight, so let's do this. And I'd take a swipe at him with my double-bladed scimitar, but like almost like you would a little kid, like, like I'm gonna hit you, bud.
Well, don't worry, Greg has stats if you want to do this.
I did cast guidance on him, so he's full sending that.
Yeah. I'm letting the sauce reign.
So are you rolling with disadvantage on him?
I would be I don't know how that works really. Sure, I can roll with disadvantage. My 8 to a 4. I don't think this is gonna hit. 13.
He has surprisingly good AC. That does not hit.
Okay.
You kind of like do this softball whip
Like,
at him,
oh,
and he. Let's see if he can get you with this.
do it.
Oh,
Guidance +4
God.
or
So
plus a
it's
D4.
16 plus 4, 20.
A D4.
Yeah, no, I just rolled the D4.
And he rolled a 4. Fuck.
Yeah, I rolled. I swear. And then so that's a 24 to hit.
Yeah, it's gonna hit.
Oh
All
my
of a sudden, the
gosh.
rogue has a 25 AC.
Suddenly.
That
Four,
rogue armor.
4 damage as you do this softball swing, and Greg goes ha and gets you right, pokes you right, kind of like in the top part of the chest with this sword, and like maybe the shoulder, and just kind of like buries it like maybe that deep in you, like a good like 4 inches, and then he like looks immediately like you see the color just drain from his face. Did not mean to do that, and he's just like pulls it out with that kind of like
Oh,
noise,
gross.
and then his blood just starts seeping down your shoulder, and he's like, I didn't mean to do that, and he's got a backstep.
Grim just like jumps right in the middle. He's like, one thing do you understand when you're a true warrior is that he let you do that to teach you a lesson. Do you know what it is?
That he's easier to stab than I thought.
Wrong. You need to go back to the barracks and think about what it is.
That's a good idea. I think I'll do that right now. And he starts kind of backpedaling and starts kind of heading away, unless Glenn would like to do something.
Glenn,
So-
we can't kill Cosmo's help. It's not right.
Glitch starts like play truck is like, good job. And it's like, holy shit, I didn't actually see that one coming. And he's like nursing his arm, bandaging up a little bit.
That was my bad. I might have helped him get there.
I was trying to call his bluff, man. That was terrifying. Did you
I
see how
know,
fast he
but-
was? Holy shit.
You never,
Only a little bit, but I kind of feel like you were fighting a little bit. I didn't want him to know that. We're heroes out here, you know. But
I didn't try to get stabbed. He just stabbed.
he did just stab. I didn't think he was gonna go that quick and just go right for the stab right to your shoulder like that.
I learned not to fuck with Gary today. Shit. Wait, you're saying I could have got 25 XP if I killed him?
You could have, yeah, for sure.
Glenn stalks Gary.
He is
I thought
challenging
was it
He goes
Greg?
to
Was it
Gary's
Greg or
house.
Gary?
Or Greg.
Yeah, it was.
I don't
it was
even know.
Greg.
Rangram's fucked the name.
The only reason why I'm curious is because if it was Greg, they left without their secret mission.
That's true. He did. Yeah, I think his secret mission was to stab Glenn. Gary, who's kind of was hanging out with Cosmo, and Glenn is like, I'm gonna make sure he gets back to that, and he kind of like heads off and also
Takes
runs
the
kind of
opportunity to leave.
after Greg.
Son of a bitch.
And so
You
the two
make
of
sure
them-
you get that done, boy. And I slap him on the back and cast guidance on him.
Oh, this is a new day for Gary too. I'm gonna change some things in my life, and he's running past like faster than he normally would. He gets an extra D4 to his sprinting, and he's kind of like slide like running does like the limbo underneath the short gate as he's running over. But yeah, they are
Parkour.
having a great time, just dodging, parkouring over the rocks and everything like that, getting out of there. And after the kind of the sound of them in their feet kind of running out of this chamber, you all are again kind of left between gate 1 and gate 2 in this very, very dark and very quiet.
Yeah. The only thing that Cosmo would do is he is going to cast Divine Sense as he just kind of looks down at the first gate and casts Divine Sense to know the location of any spells or
Within
like
30 feet.
60 feet.
60 feet. Yeah. I'll say to your I assume to your relief, you do not sense anything. You sense you don't sense good. You don't sense. I mean, I guess you sense good if that's what it is. But basically, you don't sense aberrations. You don't sense undead. You don't sense anything. You
Okay.
just it's like a just quiet silence in this place, like
Yeah.
a tomb almost at this point.
Right. Just kind of seeing that, he just kind of reluctantly, he's not really sure. He's kind of confused, and he just turns back to the other guys and is just like, well, I think that's everything in here. I've seen all I need to see.
I will say one thing, and this is just like for, I guess, for tone and ambience, but you would be absolutely right now, especially in this area. Like, this is the scene of your battle where you slayed like a bunch of the burrowers while you were fighting like that last stand. So you would be surrounded by these like absolutely like half decomposed corpses of these bug monsters, just like all around you.
Yeah.
You know, the one that took Glyn 5 years to kill, that eventually
technically never killed it.
The fake guard that ended up being Regalia dropped a rock on top of its head. So you are surrounded by all these like the smell in here probably is not as quiet as the actual sounds in this place.
Rangrim is going to walk over to one of them, and they're partially decomposed, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just want to take the top part of one of their skulls.
Yeah, for sure. It's like a carapace, so it's like it comes off, and it's like what's a good bug? Think of like a potato bug. I think that's not like a roly-poly, but actually if you Google potato bug, you now have a big baby basketball-sized head of that off of one of the adult burrowers that you slayed.
Glenn's going to start walking back towards the exit if he feels like Cosmo is happy with our sweep.
Sweet. Are you all heading out that way?
It would just be Rangrim to the left to not follow.
Rangrim would follow.
Okay.
All right, so you all are heading out. I assume probably closing that gate behind you to give it a little bit more defense if possible.
Yeah.
Even though there's a giant hole.
Yeah, there's a pretty big hole on the wall. So you all are able to make your way safely out of there, kind of like heading through that gate, shutting behind you.
Mm-hmm.
Rangrim, one thing just with your better perception than the rest, maybe you give a little glance to that wall, that like part, like that far-flung corner where you last saw your daughter at. And one thing you notice is there's no like body there. There's just kind of an empty space. You can kind of see like a small like impact where maybe like a smaller body would have lain for a minute. But one thing you do notice that's missing is that bandana. It's not there. So I don't know how you take that, but maybe there's a potential like maybe something that you said got through that day.
So Rangrim thinks in that moment that maybe his daughter took the ribbon that he like threw at her before it got like destroyed and nuked in that moment.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of up to your interpretation. That's okay. I think that's kind of up to you how you want to decide that. But in this kind of, you can clearly see that it's not like a rock fell on her. You can see clearly where I think that would be burned into Rangrim's mind, where that moment. And so, as far as you know, she didn't get up and walk away and leave that behind. So she's gone and that's gone, and maybe that's a promising sign.
Okay.
But yeah, you all are able to safely make it to the entrance without being attacked by anything else, not hearing any other movement within like the kind of like rubble labyrinth, and are back at the doors. And yeah, kind of it's early in the day. Is there anything else that you want to do for this full day ahead?
As Glenn's walking through, he's going to kind of lean over to Cosmo and be like, Cosmo, you might want to get someone working on that wall, man. That seems like a real security issue.
Well, I thought when I told Chess to come down here and start fixing things, he'd send more than those two. But yes, it's in the plans. Not sure what he was thinking, but like to see this place up and secure and cleaned up.
Might have been a work with what you have kind of thing.
But, well, everybody made it seem like they was chomping at the bit for work around here. They was bored and really down and slum-like. But, guess they really don't want to work.
You start hearing kind of like the ambient sounds of what sounds like a lot of footsteps, and you hear a pretty raspy voice kind of yelling at you from just like the one tier up. Goes, I can hear you. We're gonna. I was kind of. It's one of those things where you kind of send them in. You don't want to spend the resources you want to keep kind of situation, and you see Chest kind of marching down with maybe 15 to 20 members of the Boulderfist mining company guards, and also like miners that seem to be kind of preparing to do some clearing and kind of get things working again and back to as they should be.
Well, we cleared out a lot of little bugs in the area. About half a dozen or so, maybe. Should be clear on out.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I mean, I think if that's the case, then we might be able to handle the rest of them ourselves. And he kind of like pats the hand axe at his side. He's like, I appreciate it. And everything looks good for the most part, other than the ceiling having fallen in and all that.
Right, yeah, maybe we don't want to make sure that's still structurally sound before we dig too deep in here.
Yeah, I think that's going to be something we got to do.
There's also a big old hole right over there, and just like very obviously points to the giant hole in the wall. It's like, I would throw some spackle on it, maybe.
Yeah, I'll look into where we can get some magical spackle that'll reinstate that ancient, kind of protection that was on the wall. But we'll do our best. Worst case scenario, we can at least get the wall back, and maybe we might even have to build that damn wall up to the ceiling to keep everything from falling back in on us. So, maybe we'll take it up and just fully seal that thing and do what we can.
All right, sounds good.
As Glenn walks by and be like, yeah, just make sure the refugees stay on this side this time. Just like really hard pats Chesk on the shoulder and just like walks right by.
That wasn't me, right? I was just part of,
have a good day, and just keeps walking.
he's just kind of yelling and just at some point just now, and he turns around and leads his kind of like force into the mine, kind of walking, kind of midway, like not first, not last, kind of
not eager to see what's in there.
Yeah, but they disappear in there. So what are y'all doing?
Cosmo did what he needed for the day. That's I don't know.
Cosmo powers down.
Yes.
Glenn wants to do a couple. Well, I guess one main thing, and he wants to just see if either Pops and or the tannery has another bag of holding, because I forgot that we blew the last one up, and
we nuked we got a bag of holding, and we literally nuked it.
We had it for less than one session, and Glenn would like to see if maybe there's another one in town.
For sure. So
while we RP that, Ring Room is just continuing to use. I used my full spell slot for the day, so he's continuing to just use his normal forge skills and his blessing to continue to tinker on the cart.
Brad.
And getting the actual forge built in it with Pops's magical bellows and
Glenn's magical
that would be Glenn's magical bellows. They say Glenn on them, these ones.
They've been rebranded.
It's like a Nike swoosh, but it says Glenn in it.
That's now his logo. Yep.
That's what Regram's working on in the interim throughout the rest of the day.
Sweet. Awesome. I'll say that if you're just continuing the work that you were doing from the day before, I'll say that probably takes you about half the day before you're at a good place and you feel like you've competently put this thing together. But yeah, and then so I'll say that, Glenn, quickly, you're able to go to the tannery. They do not even know what a bag of holding is when you get there. They offer you a bunch of really cool bags that hold things. So they just seem very confused. So like,
a bag of holding is just a bag that can hold things.
Yes, a bunch of different size bags. Like I have these bags. They can hold things. I don't know A bag of holding. These are all bags of holding.
Are there any like black leather, real like low profile, very much
What
like
size are you
Glenn's
looking for?
aesthetic? Let's say like, just like a shoulder to back, like literally the full size of Glenn's back, but like, low profile and depth.
Okay.
It's not like a really bulky, giant backpacking, something a little more tech looking.
Okay. Yeah, I'll say that they have something. I don't know why they would have that, but they have something that fits that bill. I'll just say it's 2 gold. But I'll say that you are able to head to Pops after that with your new cool leather bag. So you get to Pops's and the familiar. Hello?
Pops,
Who is it?
does anybody else ever come here?
Yes. You've sent. I feel like everyone but you has been here recently.
That's fair. Let me in.
Okay. Your door opens. And Pops standing there with his extremely magnified eyes and his weird time phasing movements, and is just like kind of rocking back and forth on his heels as soon as you come in, and is like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're here. I have something to show you." And he runs over and grabs something that is sitting on his workbench and puts it behind his back and comes over to you and goes, "Okay, close your eyes."
I close my eyes.
You see suddenly a like pretty bright light that's kind of like shining at you through like your eyelids. Do you open them?
Out of fear of blinding myself, I put a hand up and like open my eyes. I'm like, what the? Come on, man! You know how this works.
As you're kind of putting your hand up, you're feeling like this kind of wind being buffeted a little bit from like a small, and you can hear like the kind of like quick mechanical whirrings of like small wings. And you see this really small, what looks like a clockwork fayfly. So like just a small firefly that's made out of the black metal. The tail of it and its eyes are shining with this like brilliant like blue-green light. And Pops basically is like, this thing is like fluttering in front of me. He's like, I know that, I have like a certain aesthetic here, and it seems to be kind of like bugs and other weird things like that, but this one is so cool. This one can, like, you can control it, you can move it in the air, you can kind of like tell it where to go. It can actually cast different kinds of light spells. So like you can cast like fairy fire. You can have it like outline someone with different spells, but it can hold all these abilities and do them like, from time to time, once a day. But you can also just like send it out as a distraction. And there's a lot of different things you can do with it. I'm really, really happy about this one. And I know you were looking for something that was going to make you a little bit smarter, but I think that, this thing's pretty cool, and hopefully you'll be able to find a use for it.
Pops, you crazy son of a bitch. I don't need to be smarter if they're stupider. And I just like hug him.
He definitely is like seems very thrilled that you are happy with it.
How do you even think of it? I mean, like the amount of detail it takes. Do you even know all the spells it has? Can I teach it things? Does it have a name? What do I call it? And Glenn's like very eagerly excited about this new crazy contraption. Glenn's gonna kind of like grab or like put a hand out to like have it flutter into his hand. So I have the earwig on my ear. I'm gonna put the fayfly kind of like where the cowl of his hood comes together, and just have it kind of like sit and latch on right there.
Like a pendant.
Awesome. Yeah, it actually sits like a.
That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, so when its wings come down, it kind of covers the light completely, and everything dims, and so like it's not constantly lit up, and so it actually looks like almost like a small beetle brooch. And as it like kind of clasps onto the front of your shirt, it looks kind of like a little beetle pendant that's like a brooch that's sitting there on the front of your shirt.
And is this made of the dark steel? So it's like a black.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes. It's like a opaline black material.
Neat. Well, Pops, I gotta tell you, man, this thing saved me about 100 times. I'm sure this is get at least like 3 other people killed, so could not be more ecstatic. What do I owe you? What can I bring you?
Oh no, don't worry about it. I think I still owed you from that extremely absurdly large sapphire you brought me. So I and the fact that I got to mess around with this, this star metal it's good enough for me, and I have a little bit left, so I can maybe make something for myself. So no, let's call it even.
You're generous to a fault, my friend. I will keep an eye out for any other fun stuff, man. It's coming your way.
I always enjoy it. Yeah, no. You plan on sticking around? You all heading out again?
We're not entirely sure. I have some unfortunate conversations coming up with our friend Luther. He's headed back to town, which is cool. Apparently no one's seen him in a little bit, but I kind of might be on his bad side. And I've never actually seen that guy react in any way, and I can't picture his bad side being a good thing. I stole from him. I took something from him.
Glenn.
I mean, it's me. Like, I'm not. It was suspicious. He had a double false bottom safe. Who does that? Like, one safe is enough. If I see another bottom, I'm gonna...
Extra safe, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's you gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah, it's kind of hard to tell emotions on a Warforged. But yeah, I don't know. That guy's made out of solid mithril. I really wouldn't want to make him mad, but I'm sure you'll be fine. Just, I mean, now you have a new cool bug to send at him if he, distract and run away if you need to.
I will be running quickly. Which actually brings me to another point. I kind of had you look at the item that I stole, and in case he's got any kind of like magical tracking tied to it, you might want to keep your doors locked for
Oh God, what have you done?
a couple days. Like 3 days tops.
Oh, get out of here then. Go. And he kind of like
that's
starts
fair. I
pushing you
appreciate
on
it.
and then he kind of pushes you out the door, and then without much, if anything, just kind of the door goes and seals behind you, and you hear a couple locks that you haven't really heard before kind of latch behind you, and yeah.
And I just kind of play with the Fey flies. I'm kind of walking back towards the guys.
Just kind of buzzing around your head, seeming to kind of react to not just a said idea of what you want. It almost seems to be able to intuitively understand what you want it to do.
Cool. And then I'm going to head over because I'm guessing I see a bunch of smoke and movement from where the cart was left behind. So I'm going to go help Rangrim finish up the cart for the day.
Yeah, I assume. I don't think you would have dragged. Would you have dragged the cart up to the Iron Woman, Rangrim, or would you have it down?
Yeah, it would have been. I would have been closer to Mages because anything I could have forged after putting the forge in it, I started hanging swords and shields and axes and hammers. Glenn, the things that we got them. Come here. I need your help.
Okay, you got my hands.
All the stuff we took before, we gotta hang it up here, and we're gonna sell them to people when we go places on adventures. So we're doubling down on our gold here. We're gonna get gold from going places, and then we go places, we can sell people this shit. I mean, fine goods.
I think that is a fantastic idea. I have never sold anything that wasn't stolen, so this is right up my alley. I'm happy to steal and sell things. Check
this out. Someone's like, I like this sword, but I wish it was shorter. Rangrim then stops.
Because I have short little arms.
One of his blessings of the forge, and it takes a half hour, and he makes the exact same sword, but smaller. And he's like, and I can just do that. You see? People will pay for this kind of thing. It's a convenience. We're going to kill on the field. I'm telling you.
Are you saying that this is some kind of convenience store?
I mean, it could be.
It's more of a dead person pawn shop, if you ask me.
Oh, Cosmo, hey, how you doing? That was a real dark way to enter this conversation.
That was a real way to neg on our ability, our dreams.
And I kind of pat Rang on my back. It's like, it's okay. Cosmo just meant that he's not super ecstatic with the way we'll be making money, but once he sees all the money rolling in, it's going to be fine.
Well, you can just, I didn't say you can't sell all the things from people I kill. I'm just calling it like I see it.
Okay.
It's kind of dark.
It is immediately 50 gold if Cosmo smush someone's head with it. Look at Rangrim writes a tag and sticks it.
I was going to say,
just anything, a random axe. Cosmo absolutely
killed
didn't kill anybody with it. But he just Cosmo smushed someone's head with it. Look at that. A 50 gold more. You think that's going to work? That's a good marketing tactic.
Right.
I think if we get Nybarg to maybe tell some tales about Cosmo the Slayer, start tagging things Cosmo
Right.
the Slayer. It could be just kind of like a branded, shop that's just
Well,
all Cosmo the Slayer.
Well, I don't know that I want my name. Maybe we can just call it something else. We'll make up a pretend Slayer.
Whoa,
and
what if I already did that?
Yeah,
well,
he's never gotten anybody's name right. What'd you call him earlier? Jasmo? Josmo?
Jasmo, that's a good name.
Jasmo the Slayer.
Nybog.
No, Nybarg is our friend. That's not. No, he exists.
Yeah, I know. Was he the one I was not supposed to talk to?
What? We didn't say you couldn't talk to Nybog. Did you
No,
talk
we were
to?
supposed to.
retcon like 2 hours ago that Rangrim cast sending and told Nybarg about smashing people's heads as Cosmo.
As in, like, told Nybarg to share the story
Yeah,
of Cosmo.
the story of Cosmo like
Cool.
2 hours ago. So then,
Yeah.
what if I already did that?
Well, you should.
Cosmo.
you
I
should.
mean, you can't unring a bell, man. You are the
And you
Slayer.
rang her bell and multiple people's with the head smashing.
It's kind of got a point.
Well,
I didn't tell everyone.
Nybarg will though.
I
well.
mean, he is a
What?
bard. He's good at that.
Well-
I thought it was going to be good for business. I had the cart set up. I thought it was going to be good for us. I thought we were going to make money. Your mom was going to be proud. Your mom already likes it. I asked her.
Did you ask me, Mom?
Of course, I asked your mom.
Insight
I didn't ask
check.
your mom. That was a
Oh,
dick
okay.
move. It was a dick move. I'm sorry. It was rude. I didn't actually talk to your mom.
Good. I don't want my mom to know.
I'll talk to her later.
No, don't.
He goes to high five, Glenn.
As you high five Glenn, the wooden shutters on the Iron Woman bang open, and Madge wearing like the thick like goggles to do forging just kind of sticks her head on. You know what? It's really hard to actually work on shit with you all yapping out here. What the fuck are you talking about?
How long?
Things you would find amusing, but never mind. You boys are fine. I'm gonna say what she needs help with, and Rangrim's just gonna.
I'm still working on your hand job in here, Rangram. I got plenty to do. And she shuts the the shutters behind. And goes back to work.
As the gate, or as it closes, Glenn's just like, "I'm sorry, we're going what?"
She doesn't respond.
Well,
Rangrim's like.
well, boys, I've thrown Poe over at Luther's Legends. We're gonna know if we see Luther today, or if anybody knocks on the door. I'm gonna go grab a drink at the Matic. Maybe call it an early one.
Cool. So since we're kind of getting rounding at the end here, not rounding the end all the way, but I just want to make sure we're figuring out where we're getting at the end of this session tonight. There's still time. Basically, by the end of today, you'll still have a couple days. So do we want to, if there's anything you want to accomplish in the meantime, but essentially you have basically 2 days until you would expect Luther to arrive. What is the plan, I guess, is my question.
We might say in
We
10
have
time.
a
We might
plan.
not.
Okay.
We might leave in the morning. We might not.
Good luck, DM.
So
Rangrim's general plan, if we do not leave town, is would just continue with fabricate to like literally outfit the cart to be like full-fledged nonsense magical forge cart towed by two
Yeah.
donkeys.
and
Glenn-
tons of weapons for sale.
Yeah.
Tons
Glenn-
of everything that him and Glenn have ever stolen from somebody is hanging off of it, and they're toting it as we made it.
I have all of those items listed too, so I'll
He
send that your way.
certainly
I have
Oh, no.
notes.
Oh, jeez, that's good.
Glenn would be doing basically like the opposite, but still in the vein of the cart, of buying like a ton of supplies for the cart, like a bunch of dried meats, a bunch of dried foods, a cool little like sleeping cot thing for Cosmo to like hang out on the rides, like a bunch of padded, like basically elven luxury, the best he can find in Tin Town for our cart, just to make this thing like
Cool.
the shaggin' wagon. It's gonna be awesome. The top's now got like a whole padded area for Glenn to lay on,
Nice.
fluffy seats for Rangrim.
Awesome.
Basically,
So
take my money.
nice. So just
Take my money.
kind of preparing the cart for in case you do want to leave.
I would buy about
Cosmo,
like a week's worth of rations
sweet.
for
Awesome.
3 people.
Cosmo, is there anything you want to do
I was just perusing my notes, trying to see if there was anything left. I don't have anything for today.
Cool. So we can jump to the second day basically, and then the third day would be like anyway. So let's jump to the second day here. Rangrim, you kind of get like you're sleeping at your normal like bed basically, and you get shaken awake by Madge, who is just like kind of peering over you and just like wearing her goggles as though she's been working, face covered in soot, and like just the smell coming off of her is that she's probably been working and drinking most of the night, but she is just like leering over you and just like biggest smile on her face, and she lifts up this.
Can I help?
And she lifts up and like kind of like holds right up next to her face this fully finished black steel hand that comes down like a little bit past the wrist. It seems like, but it's also like it's like I don't, like I said, no questions asked. I don't know where, what, and whatever. I tried making it as able to work with what you need as possible. You know, there's a couple different disconnection points if you need it shorter, longer, more of it, whatever. But I got to show you this. And she kind of like takes the hand and she bends it into a fist and goes like this. And you see this flat, like leaf, like just kind of like this thick blade come shooting out of the top of the wrist part and kind of comes out, sticks off of the hand, maybe a solid like 10 inches or 8 inches. And then she kind of bends it back and you see it sink back down into it and goes, I had a little bit extra with the extra basically piece that you gave me, you know, to kind of keep my silence, and I just couldn't help myself. I figured, you know, we could add a little bit of pizzazz, a little secret weapon to this thing. But yeah, hopefully you like it.
Love it. Ringrim just like holding it and like, I'm just gonna
be careful with that. Don't bend it. You could stab yourself. Be careful.
Keep it, and he accidentally bends it. Like, and I imagine like he cuts like a piece of his beard off. Like,
floats to the floor.
And he's just kind of like, pew, pew, pew.
Yeah, I've been doing that all night. It's awesome, amazing. As soon as I was like able to work on that mechanism, I've just been like fucking around with it. At first, I had it so it would shoot out. I almost stabbed myself in the eye. It was crazy.
Is there a way I can like wrap this so I don't accidentally kill like the elf?
Oh yeah, no, yeah. There's a
Cosmo,
turn off switch.
Like I might just like turn my back occasionally, and you just pew.
There's a lock switch just right here. She kind of like goes and like clicks it, and then like when you bend it, it doesn't do it. Just remember to turn that off. I'm pretty sure too if you wanted to modify it to shoot the blade out again, you could probably do that. I trust you to be able to make a small modification like that. Basically, it's just the lock that holds it. So small thing if you want to do that. But yeah, yeah. I don't know what you need it for, but and she kind of just like holds her hand out and like directly with specifically with the one that has the symbol on it, holding it out for you to like shake, and goes, just, best of luck.
Rangrim slaps her hand out of the way and just around the waist just embraces her and hugs her.
Yeah, she kind of like taken aback for a second, and then just kind of like gives you a hug as well. But yeah, so I think that that's like the moment I have for day 2. So in case anyone else wants to do anything, otherwise we can jump to day 3.
The end of day 2, knowing that Luther was on his way, Glenn would be setting up a small tea kettle and 4 teacups at the very dusty, destroyed table at Luther's Legends, and would be ready to brew some tea bright and early.
I guess then, in the spirit of that, Cosmo would be cleaning up the space.
I heard you. Did any of you pick up the door that was like bent and destroyed, like partially on the ground? Have you repaired that at all, or is the door still like laying kicked out?
I suppose I would have inspected it, but seeing that I likely can't fix it, would have maybe just hung like a nice, bead.
Beads? Yes.
Hung some doorway beads or like bamboo. Amazing. Or like something.
I love it. Glenn would be setting up like a very nice cordial, like tea set ceremony on the table. Maybe it's like a Valinor tradition to have tea with your potential enemies. trying to make it look like he didn't throw a temper tantrum and destroy the whole inside.
Right. Yeah, just trying to make him forget that he was mad.
Business as usual. Nothing happened. You know?
Yeah, not mad.
Cool. Rangram, what are you doing?
Rangram would be making his way over to Luther's after getting the hand from Madge. Except he's just strapping it to his hand.
Cool. Okay, so there's a hand on top of your hand and it's attached.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. And he thinks it's so slick and no one notices.
Cool.
Nice.
That's exactly what's going on. Cool. So you all are just kind of like setting up, waiting for Luther at this point.
So does Rangrim come over to us with it?
Yeah, I think he would be coming over to the Luther's Legends, pushing his way through those beads with this new cool double hand.
Just potting those Bob Marley beads.
Oh, Rangrim, that your hand looks great.
Oh, it's totally normal.
Right, looks great. Well, kind of, is Glenn there? When
I'm there.
Okay, and he's just like, well, do we want to stay? It's done. We can head for the Dusk Forge. We sure we don't want to stay? Do we want to stay? I forget.
I think we need to just face the lickings we might get. We need to figure out what the hell is going on with whatever's up north, and Luther seems to be our best lead.
But
two things gonna happen. He's gonna come in, be real upset with me and ready to attack me right away, or hopefully enough of the good we've done for this town will earn us at least a conversation and the start of an understanding around this miscommunication. And I mean, it's
Worst
not
case
unlikely
scenario,
to steal a bunch of
he
things.
kills us, but I would like to take a bath in that thing down there before, because that was wonderful.
You want to try to break in before we go?
Cosmo, your mom's bathtub just ain't. It just does not. It doesn't. It's not as good as that thing there. Glenn can attest. Not that
I've never
he's
been
in
inside your
mom's
mother's bathtub
or not, but actually, I don't know. But this is weird. Maybe we should just wait for Luther. Rangram pulls a cigarette out of his beard and sits by the door.
My shower scene happened in an entirely different location than your mother's bathtub. Let it be known.
But
I say that if you all want to break in, go right for it. I would love nothing more.
No, Cosmo has no intentions to try and break in.
It was pretty clear when he locked us out that we weren't allowed to go back in.
Right. And
Already broken the rules.
Hold on, guys! I got this thing. Look it, and Rangram just like bending his wrist with the hand taped to it.
Is it doing anything?
Yeah, it's doing it.
Look at I got this thing.
I think that was a real good use of money, and in no way did you waste your time or our time by showing that. So thank you.
Right.
I
Well,
don't think so either.
just be real careful not to poke your eye out with it.
Is there a space on the door at Luther's where there normally would be a lock?
There's
no door. Well, oh yeah, there. I mean, I guess there would have been a latch of some sort that would have been there. That's been like destroyed.
No doorknobs to steal.
Don't you hate that?
But that's I think that's it. I don't have anything else.
Okay.
Just set up a Poe sentry. Like the second Luther comes into town, we're gonna know about it.
Okay. Cool. So I'll say that you all stay there most of the day, and it's getting into pretty late evening at this point. So do you all want to continue to stay here at this point? And who's going to be on first watch?
Rangram will keep watch throughout the entire evening. If Glenn could keep watch through the day.
Cosmo's like, well, he's gonna be here, guys. There's no reason to keep watch. That just seems suspicious.
I just think it'd be rude not to greet him. It's
he's not Santa Claus. We don't have to stay up late for him.
Well, if he was Santa Claus, if we stayed up late for him, then he wouldn't show up.
Exactly.
Who is Santa Claus?
But he's not Santa Claus. And Glenn brings up a good question.
It's a dwarven thing. Don't worry about it.
Gotcha.
It's a small, big guy with a white beard. Don't worry about it.
That sentence was confused. Okay.
Santa gnome.
My thought process being, I don't want to be asleep when Luther arrives, so
Well-
I will happily wait at daybreak. I don't know when he's coming to town. Poe's going to let us know. My goal is to make it look like we are welcome here, regardless of whether or not we're actually welcome here. So if you guys want to head home, see your mom, and maybe visit Madge, definitely feel free to. I am going to stay here and approach this head on for the first time in my life with anything ever.
Alone.
Dear God, someone please stay here.
Well, Madge is kind of sick of me, I think. I hugged her around the waist one time, and she walloped me something good in the back of the head. She did not like it. So I'm going to stay here, at least with you for a little bit.
I'll go buy one of those mini kegs. I'll bring it back, and we'll get nice and drunk here tonight, and we'll greet Luther bright and early.
No, don't let Tom pick it. Just get mead.
Smart.
Mead or dwarven ale. Don't let Tom pick it. I swear, we mess with you, Elf, because we think it's funny. Just get regular booze. The stuff he makes you is horrible.
Smart. The Flaming Lip's not bad, but smart. And
I mean, when we were at that other place with the dragon-born lady, what was her name?
Brody.
Brody. Brody was all right, but Tom can't. He couldn't mix water and water together. It's bad.
he tried. It's really bad. I've had
I
it.
know.
It's not
I
good.
know you like him, and you don't want to make him feel bad, but we can't do that anymore. Just get a barrel of something
I made him
that is
cry.
already a drink. I don't even care what it is.
All right, I go get a cask of dwarven mead. No, I go get a cask of really fine wine, whatever that is at
Nice. Yeah.
thematic.
I'll say it's not the finest wine. It's been there for a bit. I don't think it gets drunk that much. But yeah, it's a little bit past its prime. It's a little vinegary, but I think it's all right. But yeah, you're able to get that all set up in there, and kind of just drink your way into the late evening, waiting for Luther. Roll me a perception check for Poe.
6.
For RP, just for clarity, Cosmo does not stay for the watch. He goes home and goes to bed.
Okay. So
I feel like he made his case enough
He
to.
missed his mom.
Well,
So, while Cosmo sleeps soundly in bed, Rangrim and Glenn kind of tie one on with this mildly vinegary wine, sitting at this kind of like haphazardly put back together Legends Hall that is, kind of known locally as Luther's Legends. You all are sitting there, you're having conversation, enjoying each other's company, and you see the ground around you just like as if there's like being drawn on the ground very quickly in this like blue-green lines. You see these glyphs all around you, all over the ground, just kind of like and filling the entire chamber. And you have about enough time to look at each other and make about a face that's this facsimile of "oh shit," before you both are summarily ejected out of the windows, flying backwards and kind of like, yeah, exactly, like just straight shot out the windows. Make me a Dex saving throw, Rangrim, and as well as you.
Happily.
Oh, cool. I'm good at those.
I'm great at those. 19.
5.
So I'll say that
Appropriate.
Rangrim, you were on the other side of the table when this happened, and you collide with the cask of wine and basically knock it flying, covering Glenn as he also is summarily thrown from this building, sliding across the ground. Your white robes covered in this like red liquid now. You both land on your backs, sliding across the ground, looking up at a form that you have not seen in quite a while. This broken and beaten, rusted Warforged wearing this tattered duster, this brown duster, with this massive Vihander two-handed sword on his back. And he just looks at you both and goes, "Well, I think you boys have something what belongs to me." And that is where we're going to end the session tonight.
I imagine that like Glenn and Rangrim both like slid to him
Yep.
on their backs.
Yep.
Just like,
Just like,
Yep.
oh,
Yep,
hey.
exactly.
Oh, hello.
And
I
just
literally
looking
just
up
wrote
at
the
him.
notes.
Yeah.
Well, hello.